The Rohingyas are facing a lost generation as children both in Burma and the refugee camps of Bangladesh struggle to get an education. The Rohingya youth who remains in Burma's Arakan Rakhine state have faced serious restrictions on the access to schooling since the outbreak of violence there in 2012. With children often kept in separate facilities and unable to attend mainstream schools, the Burmese Rohingya organization UK BROUK said on Thursday, although students are unable to attend university. In Bangladesh, where more than 800,000 Rohingyas now live in sprawling refugee camps after fleeing a brutal Burmese army crackdown last year, authorities have banned formal education and even the construction of a structure that might seem like a permanent school building. As a result, most young people only have the option of attending informal learning centers run by civil society groups. Now more than ever, we need to educate Rohingyas who can act as leaders for the community. But as long as education remains severely restricted, this will be impossible. Tun Kin, president of BROUK, said in a statement, "We're facing the prospect of lost generation. The mostly Muslim Rohingyas are one of the world's most persecuted minorities, attacked and driven out of Arakan in what United Nations investigators have said remains an ongoing genocide." An international law firm hired by the US State Department said earlier this month it had found evidence of genocide in the August 2017 military crackdown that drove the Rohingyas into Bangladesh and urged a criminal investigation into the atrocities. Right now, Rohingyas are not getting any kind of formalized education in the camps. John Quinley, a human rights specialist with 45 Rights in Bangladesh, Cox's Bazar, where the refugee camps are located, told Al Jazeera, "This is a big concern for future generations of Rohingyas. We are talking about lots of children who are unable to access education. Education in the 27 camps around Cox's Bazar is provided by international and local NGOs as well as community-based organizations, and quality depends on who is running the center." The report, titled "The Right to Education Denied for Rohingya Refugees in Bangladesh," noted that what classrooms existed were often overcrowded and poorly resourced. Many of the learning centers were located in refugees-owned shelters, it said. Years of discrimination in Arakan itself, an apartheid state, according to 45 Rights Quinley, had made the recruitment of teachers a serious challenge. BROUK said of the teachers who arrived initially in August last year, only 21% had education beyond the secondary level, while the segregation in Arakan meant that Rohingya teachers were not allowed to travel and were therefore unable to access government-run teacher training programs. As the world pays great attention to the repatriation of thousands of Rohingya refugees from Bangladesh, a forgotten group of Rohingyas are risking their lives to escape hardship in Burma. Burmese authorities found at least 4 boats, each carrying scores of men, women and children that departed from Arakan state for Malaysia in November. The Rohingyas spent several days in the wooden boats after they ran out of fuel and food and lost their way. They were intercepted by Myanmar's navy and returned to their villages and internally displaced person IDP camps near Akyap Sitwe, the capital of Arakan. The attempted flight has shone a spotlight on the more than 120,000 Rohingyas who remain in camps in central Arakan in apartheid-like conditions. Their freedom of movement and access to healthcare and education have been severely restricted since 2012, violence that left more than 200 people dead. The end of the South Asian monsoon in mid-October marks the start of the so-called sailing season. Muhammad, a camp committee member from Tay Kai Pin IDP camp in Akyap Township, said dozens of people from this camp joined voyages on the boats that departed in November. Fleeing people told me that they have remained in the camps for more than 6 years and things are not improving as they have limited food rations, no jobs and restricted freedom of movement. They are prepared to take risky voyages rather than stay in miserable conditions, he told UKnews.com. Furuk, a residence committee member at Dar Paing camp near Akyap, said he learned about boats leaving Arakan only after the people were arrested by Burmese authorities. People have longed to return to their homes, but the prospects are dim, so they try to flee via boats despite knowing it's a risky ocean journey, he told UKnews.com. Chris Leva, director of the Arakan project that works for Rohingya rights, said displaced people and villages in central Arakan have been trapped and confined in segregated camps or villages for more than 6 years with restricted access to means of livelihood and with no solution in sight. They became became more desperate to escape, especially those with relatives in Malaysia. Lewa told, in overcrowded and unsafe vessels, tens of thousands of Rohingyas have in the past fled Arakan and headed for Malaysia, Indonesia, and Thailand. A crackdown on human trafficking in Thailand in 2015 triggered a humanitarian crisis when smugglers abandoned their human cargo on land and at sea. Facebook is among a number of companies from the US, UK, France, Switzerland, and China named on a dirty list of corporations accused of involvement in human rights and environmental violations in Burma, or of doing business with the country's military, which is accused of genocide. A list of 49 companies compiled by the Pressure Group Burma Campaign UK reveals the global breadth of international organizations that have continued to provide arms infrastructure, technology, engineering, and expertise to the Burmese military, or supported projects that have been accused of causing environmental destruction, such as hydroelectric dams and jade mines. Burma Campaign UK said Facebook was on the dirty list because it had consistently allowed its platform to be used to incite hatred and violence against minorities in Burma, in particular the Rohingya Muslims minority and Muslims in general. Facebook has also come under fire elsewhere for allowing racially inflammatory and harmful content to proliferate on its platform unchecked for years. A recent UN fact-finding mission on Burma specifically singled out the social media company as playing a role in further stoking ethnic tensions. And in November, an independent report commissioned by Facebook concluded that in Burma, Facebook has become a means for those seeking to spread hate and cause harm, and posts have been linked to offline violence. Burma Campaign UK acknowledged that Facebook had recently taken action to rectify abuse of social media in Burma, but in the dirty list accused it of not going far enough. Facebook, continues to host the page of the Information Committee, formerly State Councillor Information Committee, which is run from Aung San Suu Kyi's office. It said, referring to Myanmar's leader, once an opposition figure backed by the West, but now a pariah. Since 2016, this was one of the main official government military pages on Facebook, used for inciting fear and hatred of the Rohingyas, including the notorious fake rape poster denying that independently verified claims of rape of Rohingya women by the Burmese military are true. In a statement to The Guardian, a Facebook spokesman said, "We have invested heavily in people, technology and partnerships to examine and address the abuse of Facebook in Myanmar. As part of this work, we have detected, investigated and taken action on a variety of abuse, including military-linked abuse. We have banned 20 individuals and organizations from Facebook in Myanmar, including Senator General Min Aung Hlaing, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces and the military's Myanmar television network. We have also taken down pages and accounts that were covertly pushing the messages of the Myanmar military." Another US tech company named on the list was Cloudflare, which is accused of providing cybersecurity infrastructure for Min Aung Hlaing website. Min Aung Hlaing has been accused of war crimes by a UN fact-finding mission. He has not responded to the UN accusations. Speaking to The Guardian, Doug Kramer, the general counsel at Cloudflare, said that as an infrastructure company that doesn't do anything with the content, doesn't host it, doesn't run it through algorithms, doesn't recommend it, we think it is a dangerous situation for us to start passing judgment on content and taking action. Kramer added, "We comply with our obligations under the law, but we are very strictly trying to resist being pulled into becoming the arbiter about who should and who should not have cybersecurity online." However, this year, Cloudflare did choose to withdraw their services to the neo-Nazi website The Daily Stormer without legal intervention, following the killing of a young woman by a far-right activist in Charlottesville, Virginia, after the website claimed the company was an active supporter.